Hello, hello, testing, testing. Hello, hello. Hello. Thank you. It's one more. Go ahead. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to our voters that online. The Henry County Board of Elections and Registration meeting will come to order. We will follow the agenda. We will start with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone can please center yourselves. Dear Father God, thank you for every person who is present at this meeting and in person and virtually. It is amazing that you know each one of us as though there were only one of us. There is not a single thing hidden from you. You know our every thought, you know our strengths, and you know our weaknesses. Through your grace and providence, you have brought us all together. I ask that you would help us to function not as individuals with our own motives, but as a team working towards a common goal, putting Henry County voters first. If there is anything keeping us from coming together, I ask that you would help us address those things and be willing to work through it. I know that you desire unity and that the enemy is the one who seeks to divide and destroy. May we come together with our eyes fixed on you and our hearts desiring to do your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, board, let's look at the agenda, and I want to, do we have any addendums to the agenda?
Actually, Madam Chair, I do have a couple of things.
Okay.
Under board request, I'd like to amend the agenda to add honoring election workers,
Okay.
and B, uniforms for workers and possibly election board members.
Okay.
I second.
No,
Oh, sorry.
And then under new business, which is 7,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to strike that if I may.
Yes, ma'am, we have that. Okay. So we have just to, for clarification, we have the amendments to the agenda would be under Section 6, Section B, adding BA, honoring election workers, B, uniform for election workers and board members, Section 7, new business, striking Section A. Okay? Can I get a motion to accept those amendments to the agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the changes to the agenda.
Okay? Can I get a,
Now I will second.
all right. Let's take any discussion? Let's take a vote. All in favor? Aye. It was unanimously accepted. Okay. Next, we have on the agenda to accept the board meeting minutes for April 12th, 2023. Does anybody have any changes, any amendments to the board meeting minutes for April 12th, 2023? And I want to take this time to thank Supervisor Glenn for the amazing work that she does on the meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the minutes from the April 12th meeting as written.
I'd like to second that. Any discussion? Let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It was unanimous. The meeting minutes are accepted. The next on the agenda is the director report. Director Banks, we'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, Board.
And Director Banks, we want to thank you for this operations report. Thank you so much.
You're absolutely welcome, and good afternoon to the Henry County public and voters. We welcome you and thank you for viewing our meeting. So for our director's report, I'll be going over staff reports as well as board requests. And we will begin with department update. What's going on within the department? I have a few things. I'll go over them as briefly as I can to not extend our time too long. First, right now we are working, one of the things we're working on is performance evaluations. So within the department, we have our leaders that's in the department. We're working together to come up with the performance measure. So that way we can set a standard for the staff to know exactly what we're expecting of them. And so within about 6 months or so, once we get that together, we're gonna do a performance evaluation with everyone once we set the bar of what we're looking for. That's something that know the county is working on. I've been wanting to do within the department myself. And with the election the presidential coming up next year, I really want us to be sharp. The time that we've had, although we're busy with administrative things, as well as voter registration, I want to make sure that we work that in as well so everyone can be on their P's and Q's.
Director Banks.
Yes.
Once you and your leadership staff develop those performance evaluations, will you share that with the board so that we are aware of what those what that bar is that you're setting for the staff?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay, next, training. So last month, First, we went to e-pulse training with No Ink. This was held in Douglasville. Douglas County Elections hosted it with No Ink. David, what's David's last name?
Green.
David Green. He is the director over No Ink, and he gave an outstanding presentation explaining to us what the e-pulse system does. The e-pulse system is going to be what I call like a, on the computer, like a, I guess you would say like a headquarters, Catherine, yes, where you can narrow down to know if the first poll pad has been actually booted up and ready to go, to if something happens, if there's an issue, if something's not working, how many people are actually working, who's not working, if something's idle. It was just a whole lot. It's something that I think is going to be a tremendous plus with being able to, if, let's say, someone call a commissioner or call county manager or you all, and it'll be such an easy, quick to go onto this headquarters, this platform that they have set up, which is the e-pulse, and we can tell you exactly what's going on at each precinct simultaneously, right as it's happening. So we're really super excited with that. That's in addition to us getting those printers to go with the poll pads, which we already know, we discussed before, it's going to be super duper. We're getting people in and out. It was a really great training. There were other counties there as far as Savannah, Columbia County, as well as Gwinnett. But it was a really good training. Myself, Catherine, Joey Brown, and Juwan Isadora attended this training.
Director Bates, is with the e-pulse, is that something that you have to, with that headquarters software, is that something that you have to monitor at all times, or is it something that will alert you if there is something wrong? Or
so as far as you can, it's something that you can actually watch and monitor the entire time. Okay. There's certain things that if we want to be more specific and detailed, we have to reach out to them and they can give us some information. But as far as anything, as far as, you know, like I said, if y'all get a call saying something's happening, we can pull it up and see if something's actually happening or not. Like they say they don't have anything up yet, we can actually look and see if something, you know, if someone has actually booted it up and got it going. Or at a certain time, what we were discussing, we're going to check in and see. Previous to 7 o'clock, or, you know, probably around 6:30. So if you even got one up at that point, then we're going to be like, okay, is there any issues? What's going on?
Can you run reports from e-pulse?
I want to
so
say
you
yes.
can run reports from that. I have more questions, but I will take them off. I need to think about it. I just have more questions about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Madam Chair, I do have a question regarding the poll pads and the security of the poll pads, making sure that, in terms of training, outside training, not necessarily doing the whole election, and I know you use them doing training, and there have been some reports of some problems that some other counties have had, and I just want to make sure that we want to make sure that those poll pads are secure whenever we're training other organizations and using those poll pads.
Yes, ma'am. We do. We make sure the training that we give to the poll workers, previously we did very little hands-on. It was mainly a training where they come in. It was more video, more lecture type. And so what we're working on now is, which I'll get to later, a whole new setup for training. And we do always have them sign an oath as well to make sure that they're very, very particular about security.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like to just add, excuse me, that I was informed last night that an adjacent county of ours, about 6 poll pads were stolen this week from their office. I heard it last night.
Now we have ours in the warehouse. They're on the not only lock and key but alarm. They have a motion inside of the warehouse. When we leave in the evenings, no one is able to even enter that area unless they have the security code for it. So we do have a cleaning crew that comes in the evening, but the code that they use, the alarm only cut off the area where they're actually working. And so the warehouse is on lock and key. It's locked. It's locked up and very secure.
And it's my understanding from the report that I got, none of the information was on the pads and nothing was breached. However, the poll pads do cost money, so
Yes,
they were
that is-
stolen.
yes.
Yeah.
I do have one more question. Oh, no, go ahead. No, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Director Banks.
Yes.
Just for clarity and understanding in regards to ePulse, the program, this program is already a program that is used by the new poll pass that we receive,
This is new.
or is it?
Can I ask Catherine to come up?
The ePulse is always how they programmed, okay.
And I'm asking this question just for clarity for myself as well as the public, of anybody who's curious about that.
Yeah.
So poll pads already use ePulse. We just haven't had access to the ePulse. And it's not a program, it is a site. So, yes. No Ink uses ePulse to program our poll pads, download, we'd have our imports, our exports, all go into the ePulse system, and we can run reports. It shows who checked in, how long it took for the check-in. It is the brains of a poll pad.
Operating system
Yes,
of
yes.
the poll pad, so we can get all the statistical data
All
of
of
how everything is working with the poll pads.
Right, and now we have access at the county level. We had to get permission from Secretary of State's office to have access to ePulse. You don't automatically get it. So we're being trained to be able to see when our poll pads start up, everything that's going on at the polling location we could give a person at the wrong location directions to another location. It's all in the poll pad, and it's through the ePulse system that all of that is programmed into the site.
Okay, that makes a lot.
Okay. So it allows you guys to be basically first responders.
That's right.
Yes.
And we can assign, if one goes down, we have the ability to deploy another one.
That makes a lot more sense to me now.
Thank you.
My question, Catherine, if you don't mind staying. My question was, and thank you, Vice Chair, for asking that question, because that answers a lot and clears up a lot of things, is that, and I don't expect you to have an answer for this right now, is do you have a plan for how you're going to utilize that ePulse software now that you have access to it? Okay, that headquarters, I'm just going to say headquarters website or
Yes.
website?
We are developing the plan now, but surely we are able to take off of No Ink, and his name is Greenwald. It was Green something, but he's David Greenwald. We can take off of their hands and program our own poll pads, the numbers to where we want to deploy them. Currently, we send a spreadsheet to No Ink, and then we have to wait for them to program which poll pad's going where. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, doing early voting, that's not necessary. Everyone's on there now. But yeah, that we will have access, or if we don't feel comfortable this first go round, we can still send the spreadsheet as we always have for them to assign our poll pads.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When you do have a plan, please share it with the board. And then I was also thinking with the municipal elections, when they do come up, this would be a great time for us to test that out,
Yes.
to see how that will work before we go into the general elections primary preference and the general elections next year to see how that would work, and then also utilizing the headquarter piece of it too, and how that could possibly look and be used at the main elections office, and how that can be utilized there too.
And the beauty of having it at our office is IT always comes and helps us. And in the old system in ENET, they would have to go in and pull up the voter as they came in. Now that'll all be on the poll pad, and they could also give them directions. It could be texted to their phone, to their email.
Oh, that's nice.
It's wonderful. It's going to be great. It's going to be great to have access to it.
Thank you.
Not yet. I have just two. Number one, so with no ink and this headquarters or dashboard or
Yes,
let's go, dashboard.
that's what it is.
Okay. So we didn't have access to it previously, although it was kind of built in. It is built in. It is the framework for the
It is
poll
the
pad system. And what I heard you say is that we had to ask permission from the Secretary of State to allow us to access ePulse?
Yes.
Okay. So does that mean that the contract is between No Inc. and the state of Georgia and not No Inc. in the county of Henry?
That is correct.
Thank you. That was question number one.
Okay.
Question number two, actually, it's not a question, it's more of a review. This system is going to make such a big difference for the voters in this county that some of those pain points, and I just want to get it on the record, some of those pain points that we have dealt with the last two go-rounds will not be pain points anymore.
Correct.
This system will actually tame the chaos when it comes to paperwork and different systems talking to one another, and oh, this hand doesn't know what this hand is doing. We're digital. We're going to utilize how that system is networked, and we're going to be able to drill down into very specific areas and be able to rapidly deploy solutions to any issues that come up.
That is correct.
That sounds amazing.
Amazing.
And thank you.
We're excited.
Very impressed.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor Glenn. Thank you for indulging us, Director Banks.
Yes. Okay, next. So, where was I? Yeah, the training. So we had some more training taking place. The National Certification CERA that we've been working on. So myself, Catherine, and Luann will be going to Auburn, Alabama next week to start our certification. Well, for me to continue, and I wanted my staff as well to become certified nationally. So Catherine, Luann, my two supervisors, they'll be going with us and starting to travel the road of completing our national certification. So that was definitely a goal that we have been reaching for, and we're on our way. In-house training, we have started writing and documenting so that we can do SOPs for all type of procedures in the office, from how to process voter registration card, what happens if it's out of state, what if it's a transfer out of county, as well as on the election side, that's the voter registration side, a written process step by step when you get to the polling location, taking the scanner for instance, what exactly do you do? What's the next steps? What do you listen for? Like a true step by step. So what we've been doing is doing a hands-on, gathering together, training those that may have only knew so much about the election side to know fully now with us doing this process, they get a touch of what actually goes on for elections on election day or early voting with setups, taken down, bringing it back in. And then those that do more on the side of elections, they're learning more in depth of what people that actually do the voter registration or felons or cancellations and things like that. So we're really, really excited about that. We've been doing workflow charts and things like that. So that's one of the things that we're doing in-house. Also in-house training is Toastmasters. Me and Supervisor Glenn attended our very first Toastmasters, which was great. I've been super excited when they introduced that Henry County was going to start a Toastmasters because I definitely myself, I can't speak for anybody else, was very excited to learn how to speak publicly better. And so we enlisted like I said, myself, Catherine, and Supervisor Luann. So us three will be doing it, and in the future, if we're able to add more, make a big group, we will, but we just started out with our top 3 for right now. But the first meeting was so exciting, just knowing the different things that you can do and learning about the uhs and ahs and things like that. So we're super excited about that.
I love Toastmasters. And how do I procure an invite to the Henry County chapter? I'm very serious.
Okay, let me look into that, and I'll check on that for you and see if that's possible.
It's a worthy endeavor. We could all learn to communicate more effectively. Let's keep it going.
Okay.
And Director Bates, before we move on, thank you. I want to say thank you to your staff of endeavoring and working on the standard operating procedures, and please share those with the staff. I mean, with the
board.
With the board.
All right. Also, I want to give recognition to one of my staff members, Loretta Lionel. She actually completed her certification for GOC as well as the GRC. So we have another one that has taken the effort to become certified.
Ballot D. Hand clap too.
Yes.
Instead of using the acronyms, can you say the words?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so used to using acronyms. GEOC stands for Georgia Elections Official Certification.
Yes.
GROC is Georgia Registrar Official Certification. And we're just very, very, very delighted that we are on our way of getting people certified. Okay, next, Ballot DA. So we are on a roll with Ballot DA. We got everything together as you all requested. We made sure that IT spoke with Ballot DA and got clearance with them that it is secure. We also spoke with Attorney Rowan. She looked over the contract. She made necessary changes that were needed for the fact that it was going to be a pilot and moving into possible, if we were to purchase it, to go forward with purchasing it all together. We got it through all the chains, and county manager was able to sign off on it. So thankful for that. And so we met with Suri about 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago. I was very excited to let him know that we were ready to rock and roll. I actually would like Catherine to come back up and tell about what all that they've started doing. We had our first meeting with him. He came to the office. He was able to go in there and show us and tell us everything that can be done on the admin side, any changes we need to make, and Catherine can better explain it to you all.
Okay, so excitingly, we were able to go through a training, actually 2 trainings with Suri on programming and reviewing the questions that's out there. So right now, because I found an error in the first question on one of my tests, I have Joanne and Joey auditing the questions and answers and videos as well. And so they should be done with that process by tomorrow. We did prematurely send Chair her invitation for her sign-in, but no one else has received a sign-in because as soon as I checked it and it had that error, I said, let's do this before we send it to the rest of the board. So by Friday, you all should receive it and be able to go in and start playing around, watch the videos, take the assessments, and then we'll see how you did. Okay?
Thank you.
Any questions before I go? Okay. I'm excited about
Me too.
In the state of Georgia, the different counties are broken up in regions, and if you ought to know, we're in Region 3. Henry County is in Region 3. So with the different things that took place lately in elections, we had kind of got off schedule, meaning the regions, not just Region 3, but maybe some others are getting back into the rhythm of meeting again. Well, we've been doing very well lately. We've been doing Zooms monthly. We just discussed different things that center around what's going on with elections, whether it's maybe someone's having an election or Jarvis, some things that we share with one another that's going on with the new system. It's been going very well, and we have an upcoming meeting this month that actually is going to be in person, so we're excited to participate in that. Also, we've been doing the Jarvis statewide calls. I know in some of y'all emails you'll see coming from Secretary of State. They allow an opportunity for us to come together, talk about whatever you want to bring up. They try to provide answers the best that they can, and they actually have a meeting, a Q&A this Friday at 11 a.m. We had a equipment delivery bid. We went through this process to help us with having someone concrete understanding that they will be our person, having a contract, or so that we know we have someone to deliver our equipment for each and every election. So we gave them the scope of what was needed. We're in the process of just trying to make sure that they understand what we need, the intenseness of knowing how much staff they would need. We had a bid, and we have submitted some questions, just so we can make sure they're clear and understanding what we need, and if this is something that they're able to do. But this is something that we've been wanting to do, and we're very excited that we're in it. We're actually in motion with that. And that's all for our training section. As far as absentee, we're really looking into trying to, specifically for next year, to have absentee ballot mail out. We're looking at some vendors. We actually went and met with Quadent. If I'm saying it wrong, forgive me, Quadent. They have a voting ballot mailing system, but when we went to the demonstration yesterday, we found out it's kind of like TriTech, where you're actually getting the equipment that will actually stuff the ballots and whatnot. That's not exactly what we were looking for. We were more looking for someone that would actually take care of doing the actual mailing of the ballots. We just process the applications, and they pick up and do the actual mailing out of the ballots. That's something that we actually did in 2020, where state actually provided it, and then we were able to use it again. It was successful, so we're hoping to be able to do that in 2024. So we'll probably be looking into some more. There are some other companies that I do know. We basically try to always make sure we do 3. We was hoping this would be one of the 3 that we can look at and have a possibility with, but we're just going to have to dig a little deeper and see if we can find some others.
Director Baines, please keep the board apprised of any vendors that you're looking at for the absentee ballots. Any other kind of vendors, please keep us apprised.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Director Banks.
Yes.
So this was one, Quadent VPM.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I might be misremembering, because we had a lot of good information at our conference back in February, but doesn't Ballot DA offer that service?
No.
No, so it's another one.
Mm-hmm. It was another
It must
one.
have been next to Ballot DA.
Well, I know Runback and Orange Press both do it.
Orange Press. That was the one. Have you contacted Orange
That's
Press?
the next one that we're going to reach out to.
Okay, thank you.
So whenever I get something confirmed with them, I'll make sure I notify you all.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay. Yes.
So Director Banks, just to make sure that I'm hearing you clearly, you spoke about Quadient being a vendor that has machines, but you're looking to outsource that part
Yes.
with like a human resource?
So Orange Press and Runback, they actually probably don't know what machines they use. They're probably using the same type of equipment that Quadient was presenting to us, but they will do all of that. They have that information. They have the staffing to handle to do the actual mail out,
I see.
where we can use people in-house to focus more on the applications and can put them in other resources that need attention.
Okay, so you're looking for a vendor that will handle that complete process
Yes.
on our behalf?
Yes.
Okay. On the mail out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Director Baines, what vendor did the Secretary of State use?
Runback.
Okay, so they used that vendor. What am I trying to think of? And I don't know if you know this answer. Do you know overall, were there any issues with Runback meeting deadlines? With the deadlines for absentee ballots or anything like that?
I do not, but I can definitely get with Supervisor Fessmeyer, who is the absentee manager, and just check with her to make sure, because she think of anything that went wrong or any type of issues that we might have had. I don't remember any.
Well, yeah, because I just want to know specifically, and not about the entire state, but specifically for
No,
Henry County.
specifically Henry, yes.
Yes, okay,
She's our absentee manager. I'll check
Okay.
with her, but from what I can remember, no.
okay,
That was one of the reasons we were wanting to look into doing it again for 2024.
okay, thank you.
So we have some deadlines that are coming up. The elections that we only have right now, currently on schedule, is November 7th, 2023, for all 4 municipal. All of them will have races on the ballot. The deadlines for absentee by mail will be August 21st, 2023. Also, the deadline for voter registration is October 16th. Nope. I didn't have it on here. Yep. I don't have it on here. October 16th. It is October 16th.
Yeah,
And then that's also the first day to mail out absentee ballots for the actual election. So let me clarify that. I want to make sure I say that again. October 16th is the deadline for voter registration for the November 7, 2023 election, as well as the first day for us to mail absentee ballots out for November 7th. Also, advanced in-person early voting will begin October 16th. Early processing the absentee ballots can commence on October 30th. And again, election day is November 7th. Right now, it's just municipal elections. We plan on putting this either in a newsletter or on our actual website so people can kind of have it rotating out throughout the next several months, just to keep this in the eye of the public so that they can be aware of what's upcoming instead of just blasting it right close towards it. Starting this month, we want to start rotating it at least twice or 3 times a month.
Very good. Madam Chair, Director Banks.
Yes, ma'am.
So, see if the Henry County TV station
Okay.
can also run.
Henry TV?
Mhm.
Okay.
Can run that information also.
Director Banks,
Yes.
I may be misremembering, but I also believe that the county sends out updates. I seem to remember I get some Henry County updates, maybe from the county manager's office, but it would certainly be through communications. I'm wondering if we could contact them and see if we can, if they have some blank space where we could maybe put a little corner.
I think you may be referring to the Henry County newsletter?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, we can definitely check on that.
Because that encompasses everything, I believe. And I think it is the county manager who, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm misremembering. But you know what I'm speaking
I
about.
think you're speaking of the Henry County newsletter. I'll definitely get with the communications director, Melissa. Next, I know it's a lot, but I wanted y'all to know all what was going on. Polling locations. So, our department, as you all know, we have a hard time sometimes with people wanting to remain being a polling location. We've been at Wesley Lakes Elementary School for over a year, and we have not stopped trying to make that change back into out of the school into a location. We had some promising conversations with Encounter Life Church, but right now it has not been confirmed. They're wanting to feel comfortable with who would be in their facility, which we totally understand. And so we're hoping to get with them to have someone that is what we call key holder, that will possibly may want to be a poll worker, so they can be comfortable with us being in their facility. But we're not giving up hope. We're still out there looking and searching. If need be, possibly look for a county facility if we have to. Felipe Baptist Church, which is Tussahaw Precinct, they've decided not to be a polling place. We're in the process of trying to find a new location for that as well.
Did you say Flippin Baptist or?
Philippi.
Philippi.
Philippi, okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced it like they do with it. Pecan. Yeah, so if you know anybody, if y'all know any areas, y'all input is very welcome, because we do have a very hard time getting facilities to allow us to use them as polling locations.
Director Banks?
Yes.
I think we probably, I mean, I know some people in that precinct. I can ask where they attend church or if they have any ideas. So,
Okay, sounds
but
good.
I'll swing back around, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, poll worker training. So we plan to have a minimum of 10 poll managers, the Board of Elections voter registration staff, as she was telling you in the Ballot DA report, to be able to have access to Ballot DA, be able to see how the program is so you can know that what we're investing in and why. And also this allows us opportunity to not only get the brain work part of it, doing it online, going through a training where they're actually reading, answering questions to see if they are receiving and the knowledge of what's supposed to be done lawfully, process, procedure. This allows us time to also now, what the poll workers have been asking for a very long time, is on-hands training. So when they come in now, instead of doing what they normally would do, what they're going to do online, they'll actually be able to do hands-on training. So that way people that may have read how to insert the paper, that actually do the printout of the tapes, they'll actually be able to hands-on actually put it in and know how it actually works, get the feel, sounds, clicks, noises that kind of you can run your mind to jog your memory when you get there election day. I actually put my hand and say, oh yeah, I remember this beep or this click, or we've just been trying to get to this point, and we're excited that with Ballot DA we'll be able to do that now.
Director Banks, did we talk about the meeting that you had with Stockbridge? Did I miss that?
I want to say that was on the agenda, so I wasn't going to mess with it.
The two separate locations?
Oh, the Stockbridge Municipal and County.
Because I know Vice
Combining.
Chair that's been something that Vice Chair has been asking about.
I don't know what, yeah. I thought it was on the agenda. My apologies, it's not. I saw that, but I skipped over because I thought we talked about that being on the agenda.
Oh, is it separate on the agenda? I
It is not. I
apologize.
just thought
Okay.
that for whatever in my memory that it was. Supervisor Glenn, can you come up and speak with them about the Stockbridge situation? Well, I know she got to get up there later, so I won't go call her up.
Okay, so in an effort, this is one of our goals for the fiscal year 23-24, is trying to combine county and municipal polling locations to keep voters from, in an election where we have both a county or state, so you don't vote one place and then go to another.
And Supervisor Glenn, before you go on, I want the voters to know that the Board of Elections, we do not have the power to make that happen. We are in an attempt to decrease that and stop that confusion and take away that pain point for you as voters. We are working with the city and the cities so that we can take away that pain point for you. So we are making that effort so that we can combine these polling locations for you as voters. However, as a Board of Elections, we do not have that power to do that. So what Supervisor Glenn is about to share with you is one of the attempts to combine that location. I just wanted the voters to know that, Supervisor Glenn. Go ahead.
So we had a meeting with both the City of Stockbridge's attorney and our attorney, Attorney Rowan, and the city clerk of Stockbridge, who would love to stop getting complaints for voters having to go from Flippin to Merrill Manders. So, but their attorney was under the impression that they have to have their polling location in their city districts. Of course, we know City of Stockbridge now has 5 wards, is what I'm calling them, because they're not really districts, they're wards. District 5 has no polling location. We don't have a polling location in District 5 for them. So that's an issue. Knowing where they have 10 polling locations, but only 4 of them are in cities, within City of Stockbridge. So we're just trying to work through all of the issues that they have. We would love to combine the ballot. We would love to combine the polling locations, but we just have to get them on board to see the benefit that it is confusing to the voters. It can be done. Other counties have combined them. So we're just hopeful that definitely before 24, the presidential year, with our commissioners and all of those on the ballot, that we can get that done. But yes, we are working with their attorneys to try to get that those polling locations combined.
Their attorney and their city clerk.
The city clerk,
yes.
For all of them would love it. Of course, you know Hampton is okay.
Yes.
They've taken care of it. But we still we haven't even approached Locust Grove or
Is it
McDonough.
No.
I mean, we discussed it, and of course, everyone would love it. McDonough, they all come to us. So I know that they don't have to have it in the district or wards, because all 5 wards come to our office for the municipality for their voting. So we're just working through it, and we're trying to keep you guys abreast, and definitely using the resources of our county attorney to work through whatever legal issues they think there is with the challenges of combining.
Did you have anything, Vice Chair?
I did, but I appreciate your thorough report and letting us know the status of that and actually what the barrier is at this time. So I'm just looking forward to seeing that resolved. and that that we can all come to this on the same page, because that would be such a benefit to the voters.
Yes.
Supervisor Glenn, so I heard that the point of contention is not the right word, but the sticking point is there may be a legal requirement for us to have separate precincts. Was that what the impression was?
That is their impression.
That is their impression.
I just want to clarify that in speaking with the attorney, some of the assigned polling places that the county has are outside of the city of Stockbridge. So the city of Stockbridge's concern is whether or not they can have polling places for just a municipality vote outside of their city. Because their charter, there's language in their charter which they believe requires that the election be within their city. So that's within their city charter. So those are the things that we're working out, because they want to ensure that if the election does occur and some of the polling places are outside of the
boundaries.
the boundaries of the city of Stockbridge, voters are voting there, what have you, that the election will still be valid. And those are concerns and valid concerns. So we have to determine that we will go speak with our separate consultants, and we plan to meet again in hopes of hashing out that issue so that they can feel comfortable that when their election occurs, that it will be a valid election, of course. So that's
Thank you,
pretty
Attorney
much where we're
Rowan.
at.
That's actually what I was looking for.
All
But the second thing that I wanted to ask Supervisor Glenn, actually scratch that. I don't have another one to ask because of the first discussion. So thank you.
So this has been an ongoing problem for a while now. So at this point, it seems that the city of Hampton is the only one that's really been able to take care of this problem for the voters. If memory serves me correctly, you guys correct me if I'm wrong.
I just want to say thank you, Supervisor Glenn, Director Banks, and a special thank you to Attorney Rowan for all the work and hard work that you are doing now and that you will continue to do to get this resolved. And again, knowing that we as the Board of Elections do not have the power to make this happen, we are going to these cities and working with them to strongly encourage them to combine their polling locations so that we can take away this pain point for the voters. Because not only do I know the city clerks get this, but we get this, our election workers as a board, and I'm sure the city commissioners get this too. Why do we have to go to two locations? And we want to take that away. And I'm sure the voters in Hampton appreciate it. They don't have to do that. So thank you so much.
So, several years.
Oh, yes.
We're hoping to put a bridge in the gap of that. Yes. So some registration statistics. As of April 27th, we had 175,135 active registered voters, 17,298 inactive. And as far as applications processed, they were 3,545 DDS, which is the Department of Driver Services, where people are registered to vote through going to renew their driver's license or get driver's license. The online applications, there were 16 that we were able to actually process because of Jarvis having some few kinks that they're working out. That has slowed us down just a little bit, but they're definitely working on those issues. We had 183 paper applications, and then for MVP, there were 0, again, due to the Jarvis system having a few issues.
Director Banks.
Say that again.
What is MVP?
The My Voter page.
Okay.
MVP. That is the one that most people use for all sorts of things. It's like finding out your voting locations, your municipal locations, your actual district that you are, your representatives, and things like that, for the public to be aware of what that is. And it can be found by just simply searching Georgia My Voter page.
I use it all the time.
I do too.
I have it on my phone.
I do too.
Chair. So Director Banks, so on the My Voter page, yes, I know that any of our Henry County listeners, they hear us talk about My Voter page, and we can go there to find out all sorts of information regarding elections, who your elected officials are,
Correct.
what district you're in, where you go to vote,
Correct.
actually. So it drills down to that. But on there, you can also register.
Yes.
And know that the source is a reliable source because it is the Secretary of State's office, so.
That part, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I also just wanted to add to Director Banks that these applications that are processed, these happen throughout the year. These do not stop.
This is constant.
Your office continues to process these.
Yes, ma'am. 365, well, not 365, but all throughout the year.
Yes.
Because we are off holidays and weekends. To add on to that, other tasks that we do, other than registrations, change of addresses. We have return mail that come back. There's a process that we have to do for that. Vital records when someone is deceased. Felons, transfers out of county, moved out of state, and street maintenance. So we went to, the department head and leaders went to a wonderful retreat. And at this retreat, I had an opportunity to talk to several different people throughout the administration that I normally don't get to talk to, as well as having some conversation with the commissioners. It was a wonderful retreat of coming together, talking about Henry Cares, Henry Committed, as I spoke with you all about last month. And one of the most enlightening things that was high up there with me with that meeting was being able to sit at the table and someone say, well, the election's not going on, what are y'all doing? And I practically went down this list. I said, oh, we doing this. And so when the commissioner said, well, y'all don't really have an ending, do you? We do not. And I know that a lot of people are just not aware of that. A lot of people hear elections. They don't realize the department is elections and voter registration. And in that, there is a lot that has to be done. And the key thing that I used to tell people all the time, because I've been in this for a very long time, when they say that, is it's just this alone you have to think about. Somebody turns 18 every day. Every day. So just for that part of education of the elections department, just be aware that there are so many things that we have to do. We have to tackle things that come up where someone may register to vote and for whatever reason they're stuck in pending. It could be for a reason of them still being registered in another state, because that's how the system works. It makes sure across the nation that they're not registered anywhere else, so they won't have people registered in 2 states at one time. So we have to deal with a lot of different little things that people don't realize that happens throughout the elections and voter registration office and off election season. But there's constant work that has to be done throughout the year. So.
Madam Chair, Director Banks, speaking of that last scenario you gave, how is Eric working? Is that something that is working here in the state of Georgia?
Eric. She's
Eric.
referring to Eric.
Uh-huh.
It works.
Okay.
It pulls it.
We have some states that have pulled out
Right.
that are, border our state, but the ones that's still there, it is great to be in partnership.
Good.
Yes.
Because I thought that was an excellent system when I first heard about
Yes.
it.
And it does work. Yeah.
Can you share what ERIC is for our voters?
Oh, so ERIC is a system where when, let's say, Jane Doe registers to vote, it goes through a statewide search. What I was just explaining about, I misworded that. A nationwide search. And if I said that before, please forgive me. I don't mean to confuse anyone.
Oh.
It's a nationwide search for all of the states to make sure that someone is not registered. Sometimes we have a situation with someone registered, and it will flag them to be registered in another state. So it works very well, and it helps us keep that down. There's a lot of discussion that people are that can, they're doing that, can do it, but with this system in place, it's very difficult to do that.
And it's too bad that some states have pulled out of that system,
Right.
because it's an excellent way to cross-check.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chair Feeney, I would like to ask Director Banks a few questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to begin, since you were just talking about the ERIC system, the ERIC system, it does sound like a wonderful system, and it gets better as long as the states are participating
That is correct.
in it. It is unfortunate that there are a couple of neighboring states that did pull out, but hopefully maybe they'll get back in.
Right.
So with being a participant in ERIC, is that a cost to us to participate?
That's state.
It's a state. Okay, it is a state-driven.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
everyone has access based on the state.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that makes sense in line with the states pulling out. You don't have it. So in the scenario that you created for us, when you find that someone who's now in Henry County and they registered to vote here, but of course they moved from a previous state and they were registered to vote there, what is that cancellation process? Do you send word to the previous state?
So what happens is it will actually flag them to be impending,
Okay.
and they will get a note. Should get a notice, a letter, saying so that they can take care of the situation or explain. If it runs through that system check, it's not going to allow them to be active. They will have to make sure that they get that process taken care of and being canceled in the other state that they're being flagged for.
Okay, so when voters leave, which is one of the educational pieces that we would like to share and bring to the forefront, that would be something that they would need to know and understand. What happens when I move to a new state? How do I register? What happens with my registration in the other state? So those are some things that we would love to educate our voters on, because I know so many people move, but they may not do any due diligence with their voter registration. So
And for some reason, not to interject, I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
Most people, for some reason, once they move out of state, they think it automatically does it for them.
Right.
So that is a very good voter education topic to be had, to have people to understand, not only, especially out of state you should, but even if you move out of county, it's very important to notify your current county that you're registering there, because they'll let us know. We'll know by them being transferred into that county. Or just, send a notification. As long as we have something in writing, we can go ahead and take care of that, so that when election day come, you don't have to come walk up and say, hey, I want to vote here, because they're new to Henry, and have to turn them away on election day to say you got to go back to Clayton because that's where you're registered. So that is a very good topic, as you were speaking of, as far as voter education meaning.
So that does bring me to that another idea with the My Voter Registration page, but I will save that thought for later and not to continue with that conversation. My last question had to do with all of the tasks, responsibilities of the Office of Elections. And as you stated, many people have no clue about how much work is involved, and that it's ongoing work, and it just doesn't, live and die around the election cycle. So, with these other tasks, I'm wanting to know: is it easy for you to pull reports or statistical data about your processing? For example, with all of the voters, you're able to give us that information. You're able to tell us, oh, we've processed this many new voter registrations. Is that possible for you to give statistical data, quantitative data on in these other tasks as well?
So, as far as reporting it to you all, because we do have statistical, we have a section on our website, Supervisor Glenn, on is it statistical?
That's voter, that's just voter registration statistical.
Okay.
These other tasks, we don't currently have a report that I can pull. The ones where you see the numbers, I can pull a report that actually gives me that data. The other tasks, we would have to manually do a tick right now with all the staff keeping track of what
they actually do.
they're actually doing.
So I didn't understand your question.
But hopefully the reports in Jarvis are coming along. So hopefully we will be able to pull a report that would show you all of these other tasks that we perform.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. The reason why I was asking that question is because I would love for us to have a statistical data report, and whether it's, I'm not going to, maybe quarterly, biannually, it's even annually, for us to share with the public, because it also goes into attesting to how much work that the elections office is doing, and it lets the public know that this is year-round work.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So as far as voter education outreach, there were no events for the month of April, but this past Monday, Supervisor Glenn and our program coordinator Isadore, they attended the Southern Tradition Republican Women's meeting. They had an opportunity to go and discuss and go over voter districts as well as voter registration. It was a great turnout. They got an opportunity to ask a lot of questions, learn, as we were speaking just now, different things that they may not have been aware of that actually take place. They were very excited about doing voter registration drives and whatnot. So we were very excited and delighted that they invited us out to get some voter education. I also want to announce that that our board will be attending a spring fling during a voter drive. That is on May 18th. It'll be from 10 to 2. And what was the exact location that they were having that at?
It's actually going to be in the Lake Dow area at the Jason Harper Event Center.
Yes. So this is being put on by the Henry County Council on Aging and Senior Services. And so we have that posted on our social media, and if not, you can always contact our office and we can give you the information if need be, where exactly it's located, dates and times if need be. Also in our tasks, we have the warehouse equipment maintenance. So right now our technicians are continuing to make sure we stay on schedule with making sure that we're charging, doing cross checks with the equipment, which is required by state law. Although we're not having elections, they can't just sit. And so we have to make sure we're always rotating out, charging them, and making sure everything is working properly. So that ends my, nope. I gotta go to budget update. So yesterday, the Board of Commissioners had their hearing. The next one is May 16th, where they will finalize the budget. So we'll have more information at the next month's meeting. And then personnel and staffing. We have a total of 9 full-time employees that are approved. We have 5 part-time positions that are approved. And we're using 11 part-time temporary supplemental staff members. And those are people that help fill the gap to make sure all those tasks that we were speaking of, to make sure that we are keeping up with production work, making sure that we don't get behind, because there are times a lot of things are just dropped. Sometimes there's a big drop, or season, you can say, even in the off election season, but in our season of voter registration, where it's very heavy of precincts cards coming in because of change of addresses, because of increase of new registrations, being that Henry County is growing. It has grown and it's continuing to grow. And so to keep up with that and make sure we're not behind, we do have additional staff that have on board that helps us. We still have 2 positions open, assistant director as well as administrative assistant. The administrative assistant job closed last week, Friday. We had 26 applicants that actually applied. We have narrowed them down, and we're going to start interviews on next week. Assistant
Director Banks, you narrowed it down to what number? 4, 5?
I'll get that to you.
Okay.
And just a reminder that the board wants to meet and greet the 2 final candidates for both positions.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Oh, and then before I don't know if you were going to share, I know you said you starting interviews for the administrative assistant. Mm-hmm. Have you had any more applicants for the assistant director?
We have not.
Okay.
When does that close, that post close?
It is continuous at this time.
Okay.
Is that all? Mm-hmm. Okay. As far as board requests, I think it was you, Chair Finney, you suggested and requested that I post these positions on the Buzz. I did go out there and post. I did not do the administrative assistant, being the job had closed, but I did attempt to do the assistant director. It did not show up. I contacted a representative that's going to help me do what they call a reef ticket. It's their system where something doesn't go right or does not process as it should, so that it could be posted. So hopefully it'll be out there soon. And I know that there was some board requests that were added to the agenda.
Yes, so the first board request section under section B, A is honoring election workers, and board member Smelts.
Yeah, this is something that I requested some time ago, and hopefully you're still working on that and making some decisions about who, what, when, how we're going to do it. But that's something that we really need to do. I was hoping we could have done it during the close of the last election. And then the other thing is B, which is uniforms, making sure that we can order shirts or something for staff and also for the board.
So we've already made a move on that. We worked on that as far as getting some shirts that can be worn on a daily basis, whether it's election cycle or just any regular day throughout the year. You wouldn't believe it was a difficult task to submit color and size, and then as soon as you send it through, it takes you back and say, well, we don't have red in that size, you pick another color. So we went through a real trial and error with that, but we're on our way. We actually, I think last week, Thursday, locked in where we'll actually be able to order without any issues. What we submitted with color and size, it actually was available in the inventory. And then also we ordered T-shirts for the Election Day staff. The Election Day staff will have T-shirts that has the Henry County logo with staff on the back. Because one of the concerns with the voters when they come in to specifically early voting, even for Election Day, they wanted to be able to distinguish who was the poll workers. Mm-hmm. And so to work on minimizing that to be an issue, we have already ordered so we can be prepared, being that you never know if a special election is coming up. We went ahead and ordered T-shirts so we can go ahead and have that in place. I'm not sure if our budget covers for the board to have shirts, but I'll look into that. I'm thinking not. But if it's a way that you all can purchase them yourselves, I'll let you know the pricing and colors and sizes that are available.
What was I going to ask? When we were at the conference, I believe you asked us for our shirt sizes, so just want to follow up and see what happened with that.
I have to do a follow-up with that. I actually had one of the staff that did a whole spreadsheet. We sent it to them the day of, and then I followed up with the young lady, Rebecca, and she told me she'll get back with me with an invoice, but they never did. I'm not going to make excuses on why maybe they have not, but I know their hands are a little full right now with the new implementation of the
Madam Chair, I think
system.
Ms. Samuel wants to weigh in.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. Just overhearing the conversation, I did want to add some clarity. Unfortunately, with our budget and our county policies, we do not provide uniforms for board members or any elected officials. We can cover the cost for any mandatory uniforms for employees.
And I do have a question.
Thank
Chair.
you.
So, with the shirts that you were speaking of, and you said they will have the Henry County logo, and then so along with that, will it say elections on the shirt as well?
It should have where the Henry County logo is. It's elections and voter registration.
Okay.
And then we had staff on the back, so if someone is turned not towards someone, that they at least see the staff and know that that person is someone to reach out to if they need any assistance. What I didn't mention that I left out, we were trying to look more towards, instead of T-shirts, a vest or apron style for the early voting. We have not purchased that yet, but we're looking through the different vendors that can possibly do that, being that they work 3 weeks almost straight. We wouldn't want them to have a T-shirt that they would have to clean on a regular basis, and then you know how that can go. So we're trying to be more creative and coming up with a process for them so that we can still yet make sure we distinguish them from voters versus the actual staff and poll workers.
I like that.
Makes sense. And also, Director Banks, will the poll managers have something that will distinguish them between the rest of the staff?
We hadn't thought about that one. I had not thought of that. That is something that we definitely can look into. So you're saying maybe to have the manager only, or the assistant managers as well? Maybe they all three have on the same color, or just the managers? What are y'all suggesting?
Maybe you can utilize something with the apron. I mean, no, I said apron, the vest.
Well, I said apron, vest, something along that line.
Yeah, something like that, so that they can be distinguished between the rest of the staff.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Board Member Schmelz?
Well, just honoring election workers, I guess you want to get back with us regarding that
Yes,
whole.
I will definitely be in contact to go over that so we can get more in detail on that, so we can get something rolling with that while we have the opportunity. So if I don't get with you by Friday, definitely by Monday.
Okay.
No, I won't. Yeah, I just told a fib. I'll get with you by Friday, definitely.
All right, anything else before we move on to old business? Yes.
Madam Chair, I just have, want to bring up one question. Director Banks, I love the layout of how you just gave us everything, especially for the deadlines for our municipal elections, which are coming up in November. Before we actually elect, though, the candidates have to qualify, correct?
They do.
Yes. Do we know, I can't off the top of my head remember if I even saw anywhere where we had a qualifying period listed? I mean, not us, but the Secretary of State's website. Anybody remember off the top of
I
their
don't
head?
remember it.
Time period is August 21st through the 25th.
Thank you.
And the city clerks actually qualify
They do
their
the
candidates.
Okay, that was my second question.
Yes.
All right, there we go, August 21st.
First through the 25th, starting 8:30 and ending at 4:30.
And anyone interested needs to see the
Anyone
city
interested?
clerk.
Yes.
Do not come
Do
to
not come
headquarters.
to
All
our
right.
office.
Of your municipality.
Yes,
You have to make sure you say that, yes.
yes, I'm sorry, city clerk of your municipality.
Yes.
And those are Stockbridge, Hampton, Locust Grove, McDonough, cities of.
Yes.
Yes.
That ends my director.
Since there was a little discussion with that, I think it would be worthy to reiterate that one more time, which is for qualifying for, as a candidate to run for office for the municipalities, that those who are seeking office, they must qualify with the city clerk of their respective city or
Correct.
municipality. And
August
that
21st.
period is August 21st through the 25th.
8:30 to 4:30.
8:30
A.M. to 4:30 p.m.
to 4:30 p.m.
Thank you.
As we continue to adhere to the agenda, we move to old business.
Old business, we ain't got.
Next that we have on the agenda is the voter challenge procedure 21-2-230. And we all have a copy in our folders. And I want to thank Attorney Rowan for this amazing draft that she came up with. It's amazing. I know it's not done yet. I know we have to continue to work on this, but I think you've done an amazing job on it, Attorney Rowan. It's really well written. So board, Attorney Rowan worked on this draft of it. I want everyone to take it and look over it. And at the next meeting, we will work on this in between the meeting, and we will continue, we'll go from there at the next meeting with this voter challenge. And 21-230, for our voters that are watching, these are voter challenges, just to simplify, on election day. Just to make it simple, these are voter challenges that can happen on election day. And we are actively working on this, and Attorney Rowan has looked at that code and has written up a procedure for us. It's actually a procedure. If you look at it, it's a procedure, because it's going to walk you through what you need to do. And this is what we want to do. We want this written just like how the elections office is going through with procedures right now. We want the next board to be able to pick this up and say, we have a challenge on the election day, what do we need to do? And they be able to pick this up and say, walk them through what we need to do to handle this challenge on election day. Okay? Any questions before we move on to the next thing on the agenda? Okay, so we're going to move on to the working session, and I'm going to turn it over to Vice Chair and Board Member Stelsler to walk us through. As many of you know, we had a working session at the elections office, and it was very productive, and I want to give a hand clap to Board Member Vice Chair Collins and Board Member Stelsler for leading us through a very productive session. So thank you.
Yes, to the citizens of Henry County, and as you know, giving respect to our chair and board members, and to our director and supervisor, Glenn, and Attorney Rowan, who's all here. And I want to say that, to let everyone know, again, we did have a very productive session. The Elections Board held a work session on Tuesday, April 18th at 11 a.m., and that was publicized, and anyone from the public could have attended that session and observed what was happening. All the board members were present, including Director Director Banks, Director Banks, Supervisor Glenn, and Cluster Lead Samuel. So we had a very productive meeting discussing and planning the rest of our year in regards to our community outreach and public awareness. It was mentioned in prior meetings that we would have an open house. That open house specifically is for our county leadership and the directors of Henry County, where we want them to walk away with a better understanding, a more in-depth understanding of what the Office of Election does. And we also covered multiple informational topics to be shared with the public, via short videos. And as you heard here a little bit earlier, we spoke about the example of what to do if I move into the county or I move away, even from the state. We also are introducing something new that the board agreed upon, which is called Community Conversations, where we, on a periodic basis, we will invite the public to the elections office, and we will have a topic of discussion, but we will also have time for Q&A, questions that you may have been curious about that we can answer for you. The board members also discussed being available for community voter registration drives and community fairs. For example, it was discussed earlier by board member Schmeltz about the upcoming event, the Spring Fling, up under the rooftop that's going to be held at the Jason Harper Center. We will have the board members there to discuss with the public all things elections. We also have decided to have a voter registration day fair. So National Voter Registration Day is actually September 19th of this year. So you can expect to come out, and we will have a display set up, information, voter registration drive, and also poll worker recruitment on that day. So it's going to be a fun time at the Office of Elections, well, outside. Hopefully that the weather is beautiful. But we do have space inside our new office to have our citizens to come out and get registered to vote that day, which is going to be the main purpose. And we also spoke about our new and improved option. Well, I wouldn't call it an option, but what we're working towards, as you heard Director Banks speak about earlier, which has to do with poll worker training. It is something that our board member, Angie Stetzler, has been kind of beating the pavement about and wanting to see new and improved ways for us to go about that, and being a little stickler about making sure that we're hitting all of the points that the state basically demands for us to do when we're training our poll workers. So with the ballot DA that we hope that we will move forward to after we go through this trial run, with that, along with, as Director Banks mentioned, having a hands-on mock election training for the poll workers, with the combination of the two is going to be very powerful and effective for our poll worker training. And would you like to add anything, Board Member Stetzler?
I think that covers everything. I have, just so the voters know and the staff and the board knows, I've been thinking election IQ series topics and how we can, what can we talk about when we invite people in? Hey, let's have a community conversation. This is election IQ series number 2. And it'll be this is what we're going to talk about in a 30-minute session or 25 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. How are the questions? And so that's just kind of doing that periodically is really going to go a long way to smoothing some of the chaos as we head into election season. And I think that's what our community really needs, less chaos. And I can do that. I can help package information and make it less chaotic. And these women here, you guys, I think this is going to be a good thing for our community, and I'm delighted to work with you on it. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Madam Chair, if I may, at the spring fling on May 18th, we will be rotating, the board will be rotating, so some of the board members will be there at different time frames during the day. Thank you.
No, thank you. Board Member Smells brought that opportunity to the board, and very happy that we're able to participate. And you will see us out in the community a lot more. So, thank you. Next that we have on the agenda is the open house update. Director Banks, I think you have that next. And I believe we have the ballot DA update, but I believe you've already covered that, so we can skip that. And I think you've already given the Jarvis update too. So if you could just give us the open house update.
So the update on that is after Cluster Sanyo will discuss with County Manager, we're coming up with a date. They definitely will do it in August. August, yeah.
Okay.
That would be a better month with people taking vacation time.
And coming back. Okay.
It should be more settled at that time to come up with a better date. And they would love for you all to identify what departments that you really want to focus on, ones that would be of assistance to elections. So that way they can target exactly who we would have to come out to come through our rundowns of tours and explaining what we do and interacting and, you know, becoming one. It's, you know, relationship with the departments.
I do want to ask a question in Cluster Lead Sanyo. We appreciate that being a targeted audience. However, I also want to make sure we are not leaving anyone out. Does that make sense? Yes. We don't want to leave anyone out and make any department feel like they can't come over and visit the elections or registration department.
Most definitely, I do understand that. And one of the things I suggest, we can send it as an invitation to everyone or all department heads, but we like to put emphasis on particular department heads because with different things going on in the day and conflicts, those particular departments that we need, we want to make certain that we get it on those schedules.
I got you. Understand. Director, thank you. Thank you, Cluster Lead Sanyo. Director Banks, with that being in August, would your staff, because this is going to be in your staff, in your space, is that going to be okay to do that in August and then doing the voter registration day in September?
From what I can see right now, yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure that's going to be okay.
Anything can happen, but you know, I've looked into that. Once me and her had a conversation, I looked forward into different things that could possibly come up, as well as anything that I know of that was coming up, and it could be worked around.
Okay. Do we have a specific date in August?
No, they're working on a date, but
okay.
They want to make sure to let you all know that the target month definitely will be August.
Okay. So that gives us time to get that ready, because we had some follow-ups to get the FAQ sheet together and then a PowerPoint and things like that, so that we would be ready. Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you, Cluster Lead Sanyo.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move on. Do we have any public comments? All right, thank you. And we're going to move on to board comments. Do we have any board comments today?
I did. I had so sorry. Director Banks, I just have a couple of follow-ups, and I'll wait until I'll just keep talking. I can fill airtime, no worries. Question number one, new precinct cards. They slipped through the cracks somewhere.
So we're waiting to do the precinct cards as a whole with the changing of the city of Stockbridge with the election, with them doing their 5 districts.
Yes.
And with Jarvis, there was a time frame where they were working on some issues with that. But now that they have it clear, now we have to narrow down this issue with the changing of making municipal and county one. So once we narrow that down, then we will go forward.
All right, so there's a series of steps before they actually are going to get set out.
That's correct.
All right, so number one, figure out the Stockbridge precincts, which we're working on.
Correct.
Then once that's settled, we can
Move forward.
submit that information to the Secretary of State,
To the Jarvis system.
the Jarvis system,
which
and
would
it's got to be
generate the
coded.
cards.
And
Right.
I'm
And it
sure
would
there's a
generate-
field though somewhere already built in.
Say that again?
Is there a field on the card, or is that something that would have to be created? I guess other counties have this issue. I'm just thinking of how the precinct card is laid out.
So for one, the precinct cards are going to be changing. The way that they're seen now, they're
Right.
going to be changed. But in order for them to get the correct information, it has to be submitted into the Jarvis system.
Okay.
And in order for us to know what to put in the Jarvis system, we have to get through this change that we're trying to come about with the municipalities, with the county.
Okay, but
Polling
after
location.
we load it into Jarvis,
Then it
it's good to
generates-
go. Like anybody.
It will generate a precinct card that will be mailed from state to us, and then from us to mail out to the voters.
Okay, so we probably will not have precinct cards by the fall, or will we? Are we shooting for the fall? Or are we shooting for next?
We are shooting for the fall.
Okay.
We're wanting to have precinct cards out before the November election.
Okay.
That's what we want.
And the newsletter, the elections newsletter, has that gone out for the last month?
It has.
Okay. Can I get a copy of that?
I didn't bring any, but I will start having them whenever he posts it to the social media website. I'm going to have him to include you all in an email that you each can have the newsletter when it goes out to the Facebook and social media.
I viewed it on Facebook, so it's out and it's on social media right
So
now.
sorry that I didn't think of that, but I appreciate you asking that question, Board Member Stelzler. I'll have him email that when he posts it to the social media. We'll make sure that he emails it to you all.
Yeah. Okay, that would be great. And then remind me one more time what this board's deadline is if we want to give you any information for the newsletter.
Third Friday of the month. And I also talked with him on Monday and instructed him to send a reminder on that Monday that you all's deadline would be that Friday.
Wonderful.
Are we any closer to getting a paper version of that?
So we've already started doing paper versions and putting them into the lobby.
Awesome.
Also, there already is a paper version of it.
Ma'am?
There already is a paper version
Yes,
of it?
ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Director Banks.
You're welcome.
Any other board comments? All right, okay. So our next meeting will be Wednesday, June 7th at 1 p.m., 2023, here in this room, in this building. That's Wednesday, June 7th, 2023 at 1 p.m. here in this room, in this building. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Okay, any discussion? Take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It was unanimous, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.